no guru, no government can protect the man who won't protect himself from his own delusions. If you want to see a man go broke fast, just give him borrowed money and a little confidence. Leverage and ego, that's the perfect recipe for financial ruin. I've watched it destroy smart people my whole life. They think because they're clever, the rules don't apply to them. They forget that mathematics doesn't care how smart you are. Leverage is like a knife. Handled with care, it's a tool. Handled with arrogance, it's a weapon pointed at your own chest. Most investors don't blow up because of bad luck. They blow up because they borrowed to amplify returns and forgot that it also amplifies mistakes. You can't control markets. You can only control your exposure to them. And if you're using borrowed money, you're not just exposed, you're naked in a hurricane. Warren and I have never been fans of leverage. People ask why, since it can boost returns. Well, so can Russian roulette until it doesn't. A single mistake, a sudden crash, and leverage turns a temporary setback into a permanent disaster. I've said it before, the desire to get rich fast is dangerous. Leverage is just that desire with a credit line. The funny thing is, most people don't even realize when they're leveraged. They think only margin accounts count, but leverage hides everywhere. A mortgage on a house, a business loan you can't repay if sales dip, a safe portfolio that collapses when rates rise. You're leveraged anytime your comfort depends on things staying exactly the same. And that's a bad bet, because the world doesn't stay the same. The problem with overconfidence is it feels like competence. You make a few good calls, you start believing you're a genius. You stop questioning yourself. You mistake luck for skill. I've seen it countless times. In 1999, every tech investor thought he was the next Buffett. In 2007, real estate brokers were quoting Warren's sayings as if they understood them. And then came 2008, and they all learned humility the hard way. Confidence makes you bold. Overconfidence makes you blind. It's the blindness that kills you. You stop considering downside. You stop asking, what if I'm wrong? That's when reality delivers its invoice. The smartest investors I know spend their lives worrying about what could go wrong. Not because they're pessimists, but because they understand survival is the prerequisite for success. You can't compound if you're bankrupt. The power of compounding only works for the living, not the leveraged. Buffett likes to say, we never want to risk something we have and need for something we don't have and don't need. It's the most rational sentence ever uttered about money, but people ignore it every day. They risk financial freedom for a few extra points of return. They can't stand the idea of lagging behind. So they borrow, they speculate, they overextend, and then they call it bad timing. No, it's not timing, it's temperament. If you need leverage to feel smart, you've already lost. If you can't accept slow, steady progress, you're not an investor, you're a gambler with better vocabulary. Every time someone tells me they have a sure thing, I laugh. There are no sure things in markets, only sure consequences for arrogance. If we've made mistakes. Dexter Shoe, for example, one of our dumbest deals. We paid with Berkshire stock thinking we were buying a steady business. Instead, we overpaid for mediocrity. But here's the difference. We weren't leveraged. It hurt, but it didn't kill us. Leverage turns mistakes into funerals. That's why Warren and I prefer to look boring. We'd rather be called cautious than bankrupt. People confuse safe with slow, but slow isn't bad when you're compounding for decades. A turtle that keeps moving beats a rabbit that dies in debt. The secret to never losing money isn't chasing opportunity. It's avoiding catastrophe. And catastrophe usually walks in wearing the mask of confidence. So when you see the crowd getting bold, when everyone's talking about easy profits and no downside, that's when you step back. Because in this business, when people feel invincible, that's the moment they're standing on the edge. Leverage is the sound of footsteps getting closer to that edge. Overconfidence is the push that sends them over. And the fall is always faster than they expect. Most people can't stand boredom. That's why most people never get rich. They want excitement. They want to feel like something's happening. The market for them is entertainment, not a vehicle for compounding wealth. But here's the truth. Real investing is about as exciting as watching paint dry. And if it's exciting, you're probably doing it wrong. I've said it before, the big money is not in the buying or the selling. It's in the waiting. The irony is that waiting feels like nothing's happening, but that nothing is compounding quietly, invisibly, relentlessly. People hate that feeling. They'd rather act, even if it's stupid, because action gives the illusion of control. They can't stand the silence between results, so they fill it with noise, with trades, with mistakes. That's how they lose money. Every crash, every blow up, every tragic story of a smart man turned fool, it starts with boredom. Someone gets tired of patience. He decides to make his money work harder, which usually means I'm about to do something dumb. Look at how we've built Berkshire Hathaway. We don't chase trends. We don't time markets. We don't fall for stories. We find a few wonderful businesses, buy them at a reasonable price, and then we do nothing. Years pass. Décades pass. We'll collect dividends, we'll reinvest, we'll wait. That's it. No drama, no fireworks, no clever predictions, and it works because time does the heavy lifting. Compounding is like gravity in reverse. It pulls wealth upward, but only for those who let it work. Touch it too often, and you break it. The average investor doesn't understand this. They think they're missing out when their portfolio's quiet. They don't realize that quiet is where the magic happens. They chase returns, switch funds, buy the latest tech stock, then wonder why their net worth looks like a roller coaster. Meanwhile, the boring investor, the one with discipline, patience, and a simple plan, keeps getting richer in silence. Let me tell you something about boredom. It's not the enemy of success. It's the proof you're on the right path. If your portfolio makes you yawn, congratulations. You've probably built something sustainable. Excitement belongs in Las Vegas, not your brokerage account. People say, Charlie, how can you just sit on the same stocks for decades? Easy, because I'm not in a hurry. Compounding doesn't reward speed, it rewards consistency. If you think you can outsmart time, you'll learn the hard way that time always wins. In 1973, when markets collapsed, we didn't panic. We bought a few great businesses, then we waited. 10 years later, those same businesses multiplied several times over. Not because we were geniuses, but because we didn't interrupt the process.